Let me set the scene. Summer of 2005. I'm playing in the forest behind my house with some friends, when one of them mentions they got a new Pokémon game for their birthday. A new Pokémon game? I need to have that. For months I begged my mom to get it for me, but she wouldn't budge. 1.5 years go by. Christmas is now in a few weeks. I once again start begging my mom, but she says, "No, you've asked too many times. You're never getting it. Never." My dreams are crushed. Evanescence starts playing in my head, and for days I'm inconsolable. But without my knowledge, my mom had already bought the game for Christmas, but wanted to teach me a lesson. That Christmas was both the worst and the best Christmas I've ever experienced in my life. Months of build-up led to that moment, and I can tell you, 6-year-old me had the time of his life. Now, almost 20 years later, with the anniversary coming up on the 4th of August 2025, it is time to celebrate and replay one of the greatest Pokémon games ever made. We start off creating a new save file. Naming myself Yet because, well, that's my name. Hey. Right after, we're thrown into the opening cutscene of the game. Oh no! What's happening? Oh no! It's a freaking Lugia, but dark? We figure out there's a dark-looking Lugia being controlled by some bad guys. This game is better than Pokémon Scarlet and Violet. I said it. Hate me for it. After the intro cutscene, we're introduced to our parents. To this day, I'm still not quite sure whether they are, but as a kid, I always thought they were, so let's just keep that fantasy alive for now. Professor Crane had made a breakthrough discovery and would love to show us. He also gives us the PDA, or P*DA, I'm still really not sure. Anyway, a device that can send and receive emails. Did I tell you this game is from 2005 yet? Right, but before the big reveal, we have to find our little sister. So, we unlock the second location on the map. There lives Dr. Kaminko and his assistant Chobin. This absolute alpha male decides to battle us. Now, you might think, wait, but Yet, how can you fight when you haven't even chosen your starter Pokemon? Well, in Pokemon XD, you always start with the same one, Eevee. But we'll get to Eevee a bit later. Back to Chobin. Because Chobin is such a Chad, he decides to let us win because we're just a kid after all. I defeated Kaminko, maybe Chobin. We find our little sister Jovi at the house. I get introduced to Dr. Kaminko, who lives here, and Makan, an old guy who runs the part shop in Gideonport. For now, we can leave them be. They'll become more important later. We take our sister back to the lab. Our mom tells us to go inside for the big reveal. And after looking around for about 5 to 10 minutes, we manage to find him. So finally, we get introduced to the main mechanic of the game, the snag machine. Oh yeah, baby, Bucky Barnes upgrade is in session. In Pokemon XD, you don't capture wild Pokemon like in the bigger titles. We steal them off of the bad guys. I can explain everything in detail, but fortunately, the game quickly gives you an example. It's terrible, Jet. Some strange man came barging in and took off with the director. Let go of me. Where do you think you're taking me? What is it, punk? You gonna play hero and try to stop us? I don't show mercy to anyone, not even kids. Team Cipher sweeps in and tries to kidnap Professor Crane, but we step in to save him and battle one of the grunts. We then get our first encounter with a shadow Pokemon, since the snag machine recognizes it. Capturing it works the same as any other game. You have to weaken it before trying to capture it. Only then, you steal them from others. Which is, I guess, kind of an evil concept, but we're stealing from bad guys, so that kind of makes us the good guy, right? I don't know. I didn't study Pokemon ethics. We quickly capture the Teddiursa, but they still manage to kidnap my dad. Despite Crane's kidnapping, our mom decides that we need to finish the project no matter what. So she sends us off to the harbor city of Gideonport. Look, it's the sea. The sea is so big, true. Where we very soon run into a gym bro who wants to beat up our sister. But conveniently enough, some very unsuspicious looking grandpa steps in and handles the situation. Now you're gonna play the man and stop me. This gets better by the minute. Let's see you try. Wait, so we're gonna watch them battle? Alakazam. Oh my. Sidekick. He's just gonna get one shot, isn't he? Oh. What a nice guy. Surely he'll not be a problem later in the game. Anyway, we arrive at the shop, get the parts, and deliver it to our mom. Remember our Eevee situation from before? We finally get to make our first important decision. This friendly sailor lets us choose between 5 different stones that will help us evolve our Eevee. I mean, is there really a choice here? This is where my love for Espeon started, this game. The Shadow Pokemon don't gain XP only until... Ooh, evolving. Now I just need a Mudkip and a Sableye. So with that out of the way, we move on to another new area. Despite running the errand from before, the research team still needs more time. So instead our mom lets us know of a village called Agate. Within the village is an old relic stone that can purify the Pokemon by natural means. So in the meantime, we will use that to purify our newly caught Shadow Pokemon. Before we can enter the clearing of the relic stone, we have to battle a few conveniently placed trainers that will help you open your Pokemon's heart gauge. Mental note. Including Egon, the village elder. Bite! And he dead there. Ooh, close. Bum-bum. We then purify our first Shadow Pokemon in the Teddiursa we caught earlier. He's piss chilling over there. Purifying a Pokemon removes all of its former shadow attacks and grants the XP of all battles won. It then levels accordingly and you can finally nickname it. Bear. That's a good nickname if you ask me. We then gain access to our first Cipher location. We head over there and fight off some Goonies in the process, including these queer brothers, from who we steal each one Pokemon. Just like 6-year-old me, I decide that Seedot and Houndour get to stay in my party. We find our dad, but are stopped by the first boss fight. Team Cypher's Lovrina. Oh, the spinning Pokeballs. The music. It doesn't take much effort to beat her as she then storms off. Back home, my mom and dad continue working on the purifying machine, while we return to Agate village and purify Seedot and Houndour. If you've never played this game before, you obviously don't know much about it. But there's a big chance you might know the music that's about to come, because it's iconic and gets used everywhere. Oh yeah. Pyrite Town has a coliseum where we can fight in small tournaments and a local news station, ONBS, where we will have to go to talk to Nat, who then sends us to a Pokespot owned by Duking. Another new mechanic, Pokespots, the only way to catch wild Pokemon. You put down some snacks, which is just cheese if you'd ask me, and then from time to time you can get a notification that a Pokemon is snacking and you can go and catch them. After our expedition to the Oasis, we return to Pyrite Town only to find out ONBS has been infiltrated by Cipher. So once again, we have to rid this place of stealing dropping Goonies. Of course, stealing all their shadow Pokemon in the process. Ba-bum. The next place we visit is Phoenix City. Something weird is going on here. Almost every citizen has been replaced by members of Team Cipher. But we're smart enough to figure that out and defeat everyone, including the Goonie that's guarding the entrance of the old stadium. Inside, we find another Cipher boss, harassing the ONBS news crew. With some struggle, we manage to capture his Lunatone and defeat the rest of his team. The ONBS reporter thanks us, and we become famous due to them filming the whole shebang. Team Cypher's Snattle drops the elevator key we can use in the city's gym building, which leads to an underground cave where all the original citizens are being held. We free them and get a special thanks from the mayor. I was having my doubts before about stealing other people's Pokemon, but I'm pretty sure we're the good guy now. To prove that once more, we're asked to help find this little girl's missing Pokemon. And of course I can't say no to that. We also learn of a new mysterious location, in the middle of the desert. But we cannot reach it with our scooter since we have wheels. So to transform it into a hover scooter, we have to run some more errands first. We return to Dr. Kamenko's mansion. Fight Chobin because he mistook us for a thief again. Fights us a second time right after, but this time in a Groudon suit. This is so hard for no reason. I thought it was like some sort of... Okay, maybe it's not that hard. But still loses. We find Makan, who upgrades our scooter, and finally lets us discover the wreck of the SS Libra that had been missing since the start of the game. Inside, we solve some easy puzzles. Also, if you're gonna stream tonight. And find a homeless man who has been living here for God knows how many days. But he also lets us know there is a Pokémon somewhere in the ship. Just a few minutes after, we find Bonsly, the missing Pokémon. In order to not scare Bonsly, you have to walk up to him very slowly. Which works on controller, but since I'm using an emulator, it's proving to be a bit more difficult. After a horrifying 30 minutes, I finally figure out where I can change this in my settings and manage to sneak up on Bonsly, but he decides to run away regardless. When trying to leave the ship, we are met with Team Snagum, a criminal organization known for stealing other people's Pokémon that was thought not to operate in the region anymore. They steal my snag machine, which makes them a threat again to the region, also meaning I can currently not catch any shadow Pokémon. Fortunately enough, our friendly neighborhood homeless person takes care of us and tells us that Team Snagum went north. So we set out to follow them. Here we are met with the same gym bro from before, who appears to be part of Team Snagum now. We beat him, but we're not allowed to go into the building yet. Instead, we receive information about a previous Team Cipher employee hidden away in a restaurant set in a broken down train, that there's another Team Snagum base nearby. So, with no time to waste, we make our way over there. With a quick pit stop to another Pokespot that has rung. And look who it is, the missing Bonsly. Great! Now the only thing I have to do is walk up to it.
Wait, do I have to sneak up onto it again?
But I forget that you have to sneak up to him, so another 10 minutes later, and we encounter it again. And finally, we capture it so we can put an end to this Bonsly saga. With our eyes now set on bigger goals, we can finally check out the Snagum base we were tipped. We only have to take out a few Snagum members before we storm into Gonzap's office, Team Snagum's leader. While his right hand, Joaquin, wants to battle us, Gonzap recognizes how strong we are and asks to join. I say yes, but some insane game design withholds us from actually joining. But Gonzap is still willing to give us the snag machine back if we manage to beat him in a battle, which we do. Honestly, in this whole game, I have not gotten as much support as right now from Gonzap. I think he's my #1 fan. He thinks it's a great idea that I put a stop to Team Cipher's evil plans. Side note, after we do, he does hope to take control of the region again, since then there's no competition. But that's something we can ignore for now. Well, Gonzap, your wish is my command. We go to beat up the Gymbro once more, but for some reason, there's still 2 backup Gymbros. But fret not, my #1 fan is there to back me up. The Snagum boys, now turned allies, use the same sleep powder they had used on me before, and this allows me to enter the base. It turns out this base is actively being used to create shadow Pokémon, but not for long, because I flipped the lever. My bad guys, my bad. Uh-oh. Since I promised my new friend I would destroy Team Cipher, I take on the factory's leader and absolutely put him in the dirt. He kind of reminds me of Donkey Kong for some reason. But then, the plot twist of the century. It's a war crime. Oh.
Corrigan, that's quite enough. Accept that you have lost.
Master Greevil!
The old guy from before is the Cipher boss? What? Yeah. So we pick up a list of manufactured shadow Pokémon that shows us every shadow Pokémon for us to catch and dip before the whole factory explodes. In my search of what to do next, I visit Kamenko's manor once again. And to my surprise, Chobin wants to battle us again. He has secretly been working on an upgraded robot Groudon suit. I'll give you 5 seconds to predict who wins this battle.
Oh, Chobin.
For everyone that genuinely thought Chobin finally won a battle, so much respect for you. But unfortunately for him, I win again. So sad. He had worked so hard on that upgrade. Maybe next time, Chobin. Back at the Gideonport part shop, we get access to another robot. Professor Kaminko had been working on a robot Kyogre suit, but due to Chobin's disastrous performance, it had been scrapped. But Makan had turned it into a vehicle worth its name. With this beautiful piece of art, we can now make our way to Citadark Isle, the headquarters of Cipher. As soon as we want to set out, we do get an email from our dad, who asks us to come back to the lab, so he can gift us the Master Ball that we can use on XD001, the Shadow Lugia.
Ooh. It's a whole army.
Arriving on Citadark Isle, we lock eyes with Master Greevil's taxi driver, who gives us the gift of Sableye, one of my top 3 Pokémon. So after that battle, we instantly slap it into our party. Once in the volcano, there are give or take 6 trainers we have to fight before we get a rematch with Lovrina, who gives us another Pokémon who makes the final lineup. Altaria, what a cutie master. After some battling and some purifying, we open both Sableye and Altaria's heart and permanently add them to the party. We delve deeper into the volcano and again are met with some brain-challenging puzzles.
So we meet again.
After a few hours of battling, we reach the final elevator that takes us up to the top. And once again, we have a reunion. But this time with Snattle, who was stirring up trouble in Phenag before. This time, he rocks up with a Shadow Soul Rock, but no matter the Pokémon, he still cannot win a battle against me. He wasn't a big player anyway. Speaking about big players, we're starting to get to the Team Cipher core members. Just a few meters away, Ardos is waiting for us. All this practice, has it finally been enough to take down one of the 3 most important members?
Full glory.
I lead with Venomoth and Sableye, while Ardos throws out Alakazam and Swellow. Sableye's Feint attack deals a good chunk of damage to the Alakazam, but only drops to yellow, while Swellow tanks the Silver Wind. Because we're quite underleveled at this point, Swellow one-hit KOs Venomoth, and also Sableye faints due to an Ice Punch. So we send out Houndoom and Espeon. At this point, I'm trying my hardest not to kill the Swellow, because I want to catch it, right? But this might be the start of my downfall, because I'm simply not doing enough. Swellow survives my attacks with more HP than I would have hoped. Then Alakazam and Houndoom fight it out, but Alakazam faints to a feint attack. Ardos' next Pokémon is Kingdra, who now poses a threat to Houndoom. But there's a bit of hope. I throw an Ultra Ball and snag Swellow, meaning there's also one less Pokémon to be fought. A win-win. We swap out Houndoom for Shiftry, and the turn ends with a Shadow Sky taking out Espeon, leaving me with no option but to send out Altaria. While Heracross hits itself in confusion, Kingdra does take Shiftry out with one well-placed Ice Beam, forcing me to reintroduce Houndoom to the battlefield. Also meaning, as of now, these 2 are my final Pokémon left. I do use some healing items and revives in between turns, so Espeon can get back on. She manages to take out the Kingdra, but Ardos has some more Pokémon in his pocket, one of them being Electabuzz. Another Psychic takes out the Heracross, but is quickly replaced by Ardos' strongest Pokémon, Snorlax. A massive Shadow Ant takes out Espeon in one hit, but leaves Snorlax in yellow, giving us a bigger chance to capture it. He continues his terror by now fainting Houndoom with a one-hit Shadow Ant. At this point, I'm stuck in an infinite loop of reviving one Pokémon while letting the other faint, while he still has 2 Pokémon up, so it's looking very bad for me. Right now, my only way out of this is to capture the Snorlax so it can't hit me with another Shadow's Ant. So I go for it. With about a 20% chance to capture it, I throw my Ultra Ball. Great. Now the only thing left to do is get the Electabuzz.
Okay.
I white out for the first time in the game. Maybe I learned less than I thought from all this practice. No, I feel confident. I just have to retry. I got unlucky. This time, I lead with Sableye and Houndoom to quickly deal with the Alakazam. We start trading Pokemon, and before I know it, we're left in a 2v2. I think to myself, I can't afford the Snorlax to get any hits off. I'm just gonna get put back in an endless cycle of reviving. So I decide to gamble it and throw a ball. Come on. Come on then! And to my surprise, it works. Snorlax is captured with a full HP bar. With only Heracross standing in the way, the rest of this battle is nothing to worry about. I take it out, and there it is. We have defeated 1 out of the 3 Cipher core members. Literally 2 minutes later, we get our final reunion with the Monkey Man, who will contribute to the team, giving us our final asset, his Poliwrath. As soon as the Poliwrath is also purified, we slap another banger name on him and replace Shiftry to make place for Paul. Our final team is now completed. We are ready to take on the second Cipher admin. Fortunately for me, this one is not as strong as its blue counterpart. I capture all 3 of his shadow Pokemon with ease, and I'm left standing with 3 Pokemon alive. Now that both these guys have been dealt with, there's only one thing left I can do. Face Master Greevil. Let me introduce you to my faithful servant, the one that shall become the central figure in my shadow Pokemon army. Come forth, XD001. Holy. He's aura farming, what the frick? This Lugia is the first of the shadow Pokemon that cannot be purified. Now, let us celebrate the completion of my shadow Pokemon plan in advance. Fall prey to Shadow Lugia. Okay. With the Master Ball from our dad, we snag Lugia, and Master Greevil gets so pissed, only for him to challenge us to a real duel. Greevil has 6 Pokemon, all Shadow, including all 3 legendary birds from Gen 1. It takes me multiple attempts to get this right because the birds hit like a truck. But eventually, and I mean eventually, 1. No. 1. 1. 2. 1. Man. 2. No. 1. Ah! 3. We also get the Zapdos. Stop! Let's put a stop to this. Father! Don't call him father. Call him the Grandmaster. It isn't possible to take over the world by producing powerful Pokemon. Just think of this child. This child's pure heart won out over XD001. We were in the wrong. Now please, stand up. This is how it should be. The laws of the land will render judgment on what we have done. Oh, everything I did. All of it was a mistake. The Cipher leaders finally realized what they did was wrong, and are ready to face the consequences for their actions. After which we are celebrated for ours, becoming the hero of the region. But there's one thing left to do. At this point, all our shadow Pokemon are purified, except one, XD001, the Shadow Lugia, the one Pokemon said to be unpurifiable. We're ending the game like it started, with Lugia. If we want to purify it, we have to make sure our machines are working over ours. In order to do so, we need to do the following. We have to get max tempo here. We have one shadow Pokemon in the middle that we want to purify, right? The tempo is decided by these 4 Pokemon that are like supporting him to purify it. But the order is important because every Pokemon, clockwise order, has to be super effective against the other. Fire here, super effective against Steel. Steel is super effective against Poison, right? Or is it not? It is not. And with all our machines on max tempo, the only thing that's left to do is put in Lugia. I'm gonna do what 6-year-old me couldn't do. Purified! Finally, we have purified every Pokemon in the game. If we go to rematch Greevil on Citadark Isle, we end getting a hidden cutscene because of it, signaling our hunt for Shadow Pokemon is over. And with that, the game is over too. Looking back on this playthrough, it might not be the best Pokemon game ever made. It's probably the nostalgia talking. But that's okay, because what I gained most from replaying it is the ability to think back on my childhood and realize how great it was. Spending so much time with my parents, getting amazing gifts from them, and understanding how much they love me. So, to my parents, thank you.